What is going on, everybody? No.
You can't do it.
I can do it. Here we go.
Leave all this in.
No,
This is Patreon content.
It's Patreon extra content. You pay to hear me fuck up. What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another week of our month, even, of our Lazarus Pit movie review show. You make the same mistake every month, mister. This is the show. I haven't introduced you yet.
Sorry, I do apologise.
This is the show where we talk about an older comic book or nerdy movie and give our general thoughts on it. I am joined, as always, by my very encouraging and loyal friend, Ciara Lawler.
Loyalty, I would say, only goes so far. And what I would start this episode with, this is the Patreon, so we can be a bit more chill. It's fine. These are our people, Shaun. So
yes, these people like us.
Before we started recording, I said, "Do you want to take the intro just to change it up?" And you said yes. And then you fucked up at least twice. And this is your third attempt.
A solid one, and then I did two, and then I fucked up in the middle of the second attempt and then recovered flawlessly and no one noticed.
It's not so easy, is it? But you might think, Shaun, why did I make you do that? Because I have a deeper meaning. Because everything can have a reboot. I mean, we changed it up. Same idea, but done in a different way.
Loose.
Different words.
This is loose, my friend.
I'm trying.
Right. No.
For example, this month's movie that we chose from the hat for the Lazarus Pit is The Amazing Spider-Man, Shaun.
Yes, the most amazing Spider-Man that we've ever seen.
Yeah, I went looking for this on streaming sites and I searched for Spider-Man and they had nothing. And then I realised you have to put a space between Spider and Man before it comes up even on Google.
That's very true. I, not proud to say this, I bought this movie on YouTube.
Outrageous. Outrageous.
£8 I paid. I got standard def because why bother? £8. I spent £8 on this. Yeah.
So
I'm doing this new thing where I don't try very hard to find movies anymore. So whatever the first thing to come up is, and it's fine.
It just costs you money, but it's worth it.
It costs me money. Well, this movie cost me money and time, I will say, Connor.
That's true. Now, this movie came out in 2012, and it was, of course, after Sam Raimi's trilogy. And what happened was Sony decided Spider-Man made a lot of money. The last one only came out in 2007. Let's do another one for the crack.
Yeah, 5 years of a gap feels unearned, I think, to do the whole reboot thing.
Not even like a 20-year gap or a 15-year gap. 5 years.
Even 10. I would give it 10, honestly.
Like the people who were 20 when the last one came out are now 25 and can definitely remember the previous movie.
That's, and so I'm thinking back to how old I was in 2012 and my God, it does not feel that long ago. But this movie is... I thought, without spoiling my thoughts too much, I felt it was worse in my memory than it was watching it, I will say.
That's interesting because my first time watching this film, I actually had the opposite experience, where I had a great fun watching this movie. And I remember watching it the first time and I came out of it going, that's great! What a lovely film! I think I was just in a really good mood, and so I liked a bit of romance. I liked the chemistry. I was around the right age that I was kind of like, oh, he's so nerdy and oh, he's awkward, and I just like it.
But yeah, that's the thing. No, and look, I had fun with this in the cinema. It's the last 10 years of people saying this movie is bad has gotten it into my head. But watching this in the cinema, I remember enjoying it. Thing about Peter Parker in this movie, he's nerdy and he's downtrodden, but he's also cool as fuck. Yeah, so he's really an everyman.
He can't help the fact that he looks like Andrew Garfield, which is a hindrance.
No, neither can I.
And you can't either. You always get mixed up with him.
But yeah,
between all the Spider-Man, we always kind of go along the fact Tobey Maguire, he had the Peter Parker down, I suppose.
in that he's nerdy and miserable all the time.
Yeah, and then Andrew Garfield was kind of good as Spider-Man because he's like quippy. But he's just...
Yeah.
But sometimes his quips just go into bullying in this film, but he's meant to be quippy. And
yes, yeah. And then Tom Holland is like a decent mix of both, but far too many shirtless scenes for Peter Parker, I think.
Yeah, but no, I think Tom Holland gets a pass just because he's kind of a good mix of both. But I will say Andrew Garfield, going back to watch this, I mean, sometimes I want to shake him because like he never says words. Sometimes he just like moves his head or he's just like silent. I'm just like, just say something. But I can also understand he's portraying the awkward teen. Him and Gwen Stacy or him and Emma Stone are meant to be awkward around each other, but they both like each other. Yeah,
and look, they have good chemistry, but I also think that chemistry doesn't fit in this movie because everything else about this movie is mental. Like it's like larger than life, very stylized, very happy, very positive about Spider-Man in most cases, and very like ideal version of a lot of things. And then the chemistry scene is almost too natural, a lot of it.
That's actually a good way of putting it, is that this movie, actually, the chemistry between the leads is so good that you just don't give a shit about the lizard man. It's so good that, it distracts from a lot of the plot, but also I feel weird watching, because it feels like I'm watching a really personal moment. Which is good, but also, like, bad. I don't know.
Yeah, there's a balance there to be
also,
found.
We've talked for several minutes now, and we haven't mentioned the villain of the film, and we've gone straight to, wow, the chemistry between the leads is so good. We haven't talked about some things maybe the film did wrong. So we'll get into all of that throughout the whole review. Now, if this is your first spoiler review, what we normally do is we go scene by scene, mostly because we'd forget otherwise, and we won't go every line that's said, but we'll just go, wasn't that a good scene? This scene is a bit weird, so on.
Yeah. And beginning at the start, Connor, why the fuck do we need a backstory about Peter Parker before the spider bite?
I've always said that if you're going to do a Peter Parker origin, I want to know if his parents are part of a conspiracy. That's my chest tattoo, and it goes into my back, and you know that about
it wraps around. Yeah. It was many sessions you went through to get that.
Yeah,
like it's just why. Like I get, and look, in later films, and they were building towards a whole Richard and May Parker storyline, and
that's also bad.
It's also bad. The dad comes back in the second one in a deleted scene. It's totally twisted. But and fair play to them for setting that up this far in advance. They also set up his father's calculator in this movie as well. Good one, great one. But it doesn't matter. This movie does not need that.
I think this movie does get painted, because The Amazing Spider-Man 2 is so bad, that this one kind of gets painted with the same brush. But I think this one movie does a lot of things right, but ultimately it also does quite a few things the wrong way. And so in the end you get this like mix of, oh, that's pretty good, with I don't know if I would do that.
Yeah, and like for 2012, I think this movie is pretty good. Like, for what we were getting at the time, I think it's perfectly cromulent, Connor.
Ooh, very good. Green Lantern had only come out the year before, I think, so to be fair.
And Avengers the same year, so...
Yeah, actually. So you have the conspiracy theory with the parents. I think this was going to come in big in the second one. I think set up a sequel early. I want to know what's going on with his parents, because that's what makes me interested to Peter Parker.
Yeah. Look, it's not ideal, I will say, as an intro.
We also then transition into a very 2011, I have written here, or 2012 high school with Andrew Garfield and his tremendous hair. He's a nerd, Shaun, and he's a photographer, and girls don't like him, even though he definitely looks like Andrew Garfield.
It's weird that people wouldn't like him. Because also, like, he's not even like he's like really awkward to the point of not talking to anyone. Like, he's just like he's doing his own thing. He's doing photography. He's skateboarding. He's like, he's just. It seems he's written to be worse than he is, but he's not that at all.
Yeah, everyone
like,
keeps being like, well, what a nerd. And I'm just kind of like, he seems normal, but that may be because we're not cool as well, Shaun. I can't really know.
Look, maybe I'm Spider-Man. But also, but
wish.
then, like, yeah, I know, I do. But also, like, you have Flash Thompson in this movie. I will say, Flash Thompson does, for his few scenes that he's in, is quite good in this movie.
There's a scene that he's really good at later on.
Yeah, and that's like one of the best parts of this movie, so fair play to that dude. But he's like, you see him actually bullying someone, like properly, like holding a kid's face onto a table.
Yeah, like 80s Saturday morning cartoon bullying someone.
Yeah, cartoon bullying. And he should be doing that to Peter Parker is the thing.
But he's doing it to somebody else, and so you have Andrew Garfield show up and Peter Parker's like, hey, don't do that. And then he gets the shit kicked out of him. But
yeah.
I like this idea. It's a very simple. We don't have to see Peter Parker getting beaten up, but we like the idea that he's standing up for other people, even though he's definitely not as strong as Flash.
Yeah. And I get that. And it's the Captain America thing of like, oh, the powers make a good man great kind of a deal. But like, I don't know. I feel like Peter Parker should have been, if they're going for the downtrodden Peter Parker, they didn't go far enough with Andrew Garfield.
I think it's kind of in the middle of everything. Like, I think it's just fine for a lot of the choices that they make. One particular choice was Emma Stone as Gwen Stacy, who is definitely not fine. I think she's perfect in the role, just in terms of a Gwen Stacy who... she comes across it as like, Flash, do we not have classes soon enough? And she kind of is like, she's like a parental figure to the idiot. That is just like, move along, you moron, we have classes later on. I told you have better places to be, leave him alone. And then we have our first scene of the two of them where they're in the classroom and she's like, do you know your name? And him thinking that she doesn't know his name, which would be very easy to do in the story, she's like, oh, I know your name, but do you know your name?
Yeah, you might have a concussion, which you would know all about, actually.
I would. I've had a few of my times, Shaun.
I've been concussed several times and still recorded. It was wild.
One of them I couldn't read.
Which is wild because you were the host.
I was. Shaun, I may turn off this computer. It's giving me a headache.
We'll just wing it. Stay recording, it'll be fine.
So it's funny now. It's funny now. When also, I'm never going to give context to why. We're just going to leave it at that. Jeez, he's getting beaten up at home or something.
That's I keep kicking the shit out of you. That's what happens.
We have the two of them. We see them in school. It's all lovely, Shaun. But then he goes home, and we've got. I mean, there's two people here known as Martin Sheen and Sally Field, which I think, if you're going to do an older Uncle Ben and Aunt May, pretty great casting.
Pretty great casting. Like I believe them. Not only as like Aunt May and Uncle Ben, but also like as they're a husband and wife.
Oh, like 100%, yeah.
They have a really good like back and forth with each other the whole time.
Like even the bit about the meatloaf, that's not in this scene, but it's the next scene. And like that's just it's a dumb joke. But after 37 years of marriage, it's just like, hey, there must be something wrong. He's eating your meatloaf. Hey.
Yeah, like it's just a little throwaway thing that happens. And I feel like there's a lot of nice moments in this movie that if you add them all up and cut out about, 30 minutes of umming and ahhing before saying something, then I think it's fairly solid. I
think that's a great way of putting it. Like, I think there's good dialogue, but before each bit of good dialogue, especially for some characters, there's just Peter mutters. Peter mutters and grumbles.
Yeah. And look, maybe that's what he was told to do and he did a great job of it. But so you could make this more succinct.
And so you have a flood that's down in the basement and Peter's brought down and Uncle Ben is like, what are we going to do? And Peter's like, I'll be able to solve it tomorrow. And so Uncle Ben's like, okay, pick whatever you can save, bring it upstairs. So Peter comes across a briefcase that was his father's, who's involved with the FBI or the CIA or some sort of global conspiracy.
It's just like Peter's never seen this briefcase. They apparently, and it's done really well. Like they just kind of don't. It's not that they avoid talking about his parents, but they just don't talk about. They never come up.
And I think Andrew Garfield is really good in the scene where he brings it up, because there's tears in his eyes, and he just basically keeps repeating, "I've never seen this before. I've never seen this before." And also Sally Field and Martin Sheen are also really good, because they share a look that they're like, "Oh no, we now have to talk."
They know there's more.
Not even "oh no," but it's like, now we have to talk about it.
That's it, because at the start of the movie, Richard Parker and then Ben and May and Mary Parker was also there. They were all sitting at the table discussing things while Peter watched on. So Uncle Ben and Aunt May they know kind of some of the shit that's going on, and clearly now that briefcase is that's a link to something that Peter probably shouldn't know about. And
this is shown when he's like, oh, there's nothing in it really, but then he pulls out an old photo that's in it, and it's Dr. Kirk Connors. And he's like, who's this guy with my dad? And the two of them are immediately like, oh, we don't know. Just some guy that your father worked with, probably. And so he takes all the stuff upstairs. Because, to him, his parents died when what was he, I think in the old flashback, he might be 5 or 6 or something.
Yeah.
So he so he lays all the stuff out in his room. And he just has it all there. And he's kind of going through it. And Uncle Ben comes up to see him. And it's at this point we see Uncle Ben and him have a great relationship in terms of he knows. Uncle Ben says no immediately, but then he's like, I gotta tell him, because I owe it to him.
Yeah, and he's an adult. He's getting close to being an adult. He needs to know this.
Yeah, it's not like he's 10.
He's just going to dig it up later. Yeah, he's not a child anymore, basically. Also, nice little touches with Peter in this scene. He has a door lock that he has hooked up to his computer. So it's little things that show his he's really good at just cobbling shit together. Even fixing the water pump. He's just no, I can get these parts and I can fix it. I know how to do it. There's really good building of Peter's world in this.
Peter is a nerd. And he's much better when we just show him, as you said, just cobbling things together. Or something as simple as him having the lock in the door that he could only do with his computer, that he unlocks it. Or the Rubik's Cube that's made on the table. That works a lot better than Flash going, you nerd. You're a geek, Peter. Because there's nothing wrong with being smart. That's Peter Parker's the whole thing.
Tell me about it.
I fucking will have to. but you have Uncle Ben, and he starts expositing. And he's like, that's Dr. Kirk Connors. Him and your dad were best friends. But then he says, when your parents died, he never made one contact with us. Not one. He just vanished off the face of the earth.
Yeah, and never heard from him again.
And I think that's good, because for Uncle Ben and Aunt May, that's we would have told you, but he just literally never, why would we bring him up? It was not like he was ringing us afterwards.
Yeah. Oh yeah, he was never relevant after that, basically. And a really nice line then from Andrew Garfield at the end. He's just hey, Uncle Ben, you're a pretty good dad. Is no, you raised me. You did a good job. I'm not upset with you. Yeah, I'm just this is a lot now.
And even just the scene of when he first comes home and he's sitting on the counter and he's drinking, I don't know what he's drinking, orange juice or something. And you have Sally Field and Martin Sheen interacting as a married couple. You can tell the three of them have a great rapport. Just even from that one scene, there's oh, these people are around each other all the time. They're always just they're just taking the piss out of each other constantly. And something like that goes a long way to later on, because Uncle Ben probably, he's looking healthy right now, but who knows what could happen. So he has to use Bing for a bit of exposition. And
this bothered me at the time.
Why is he using Bing? 2012, Google was still around, right?
Yeah, it's so specific to use, but Google is so nondescript that it doesn't matter if Google shows up in anything. But if you use Bing, that's a fucking choice that someone made.
I think 2012 was Mozilla Firefox like the big one at that stage.
I've been a Chrome boy since '08, I must say.
Really? I think I was Firefox until like maybe 12 or 13, and then I came across the Chrome. But I think I might be
ship,
because I was dumb. I'm just a dumb shit. And so I used Ask Jeeves for a while.
I was I'm still Internet Explorer myself.
How often do you use an Edge these days?
No,
all the time.
I'm always on the edge of using it. That's the problem.
That's the problem. No, your button is hovering over constantly.
Just, not today.
I never get any work done. I'm just constantly fighting with myself. So he finds out that there's Kirk Connor works in the Oscorp Association, and so he does
steals someone's place on a tour.
He does a lot of research into what he's doing in terms of animal genetics and moving genetics from one animal to another species if there's something wrong or whatever. So he does, and so this kind of, you come across the fact also he found files in his father's bag or his briefcase that had two symbols on it. That was like,
yes,
and it had like a formula.
Yeah, what's it called? The decay formula or something like that.
Yeah, it's a regeneration. They're trying to like be able to regenerate limbs to people who've lost them. And so he goes to Oscorp and he steals some guy's internship, which is, I think, is a funny scene that he steals the thing, and then they go upstairs and you see this like poor man being dragged out. He's like, no, I am who I say I am.
Yeah, and he gets up and then Gwen Stacy is there and immediately is like, you're a fucking dickhead.
I know, he's hiding at the back at the start, and it's at the point of Kirk Connors comes out, and then it starts talking to them, and he starts saying, does anyone know what we're doing here or why we would do this? And nobody says anything, or someone says something wrong, and Peter, because he's a nerd and because he loves this shit, he's like, he wants to impress, so he's like, he immediately starts answering, and it's at this point Gwen says like, that's not Federico Gonzalez. That's clearly Peter Parker.
Yeah, and look, they have a nice moment, and she's like, look, you can stay, just don't ruin my job. I need to just fucking stay with the tour.
And so the idea is that there's a world without weaknesses is what Kirk Connors wants, so everyone can re-heal themselves, or everyone has healing properties.
Yeah, that's just a broad enough thing to say that it can be interpreted however Kirk Connors sees fit later on in the film.
He's also asked like, why is he there? And by Gwen Stacy, and he's like, I just love science. I just love science. She's like, you love science. Is that why you're here? Are you following me? No, I love science. And then they also have the bit where Kirk Connors is like, who's he? And Gwen Stacy's like, he's Peter Parker. He's second in his class. And he's like, second? Because
he doesn't say, she doesn't say he's Peter Parker though, because Kirk Connors will be, it's just like he's one of the school's best and all this kind of stuff. I like this whole Oscorp scene though. Like, Oscorp in the Raimi trilogy felt like one room with a big glass case in it, but this feels like an actual, like, kind of megalomaniacal corporation that actually exists.
And I like that you never see Norman Osborn's face either. Like, it's shadowed out.
Yeah.
But
no mention of Dane DeHaan, by the way.
Nobody mentions Dane DeHaan, the actor, by name. So the one bit that is really bad in this scene, and I would be remiss to not point it out, is the fact that Peter Parker starts backing up and he knocks into the one shady guy in the whole place that just so happens to be carrying the one thing that just so happens to be the formula that his father and Kirk Connors were working on.
Well, look, I think if the second movie is anything to go by, everything is... Peter Parker is destined for everything that ever happens to him. I
mean, what are the chances in the whole building that he backs away, and he doesn't even back away for long. Like, he's after taking 5 steps away from the group.
Like it's 4 inches backwards.
Yeah, and he knocks into the one guy who can move the plot.
Yeah, and so There's this moment where he's like, he picks the file up off the ground and he looks at it solidly.
And I like that they put the symbols on it. I like they put the symbols on it, so now we know.
We knew. Mm-hmm. Now we know that that's the same thing and it's connected. And your man takes the folder and he just looks at him like, what the fuck are you looking at?
And so bad guy Ex Machina, he walks off and he goes to a room and Peter follows him.
Yeah.
And from about 90 yards away spies that this super complicated password that this guy puts in, Peter can just see it. He's got really good glasses on, like really good at this point.
Yeah, because they're his dad's glasses, which are the same prescription as him.
Perfect. Perfect prescription.
It's a big moment where he takes out his contact lens.
I'll be honest with you, you'd get a headache. Any other prescription, and that gives you a headache constantly throughout the day.
So specific, better or worse. We've all been there, lads.
And so he breaks into the lab because he's used the same password. Somehow he just knows it, and he knows that guy is working on the one thing he needs. He came here. He only arrived 10 minutes ago. Fucking hell, this is easy. So he goes into the lab. All the spiders are there, and he decides to continue into the room full of spiders, which I think at that point you're leaving.
Yeah, leave the room full of test spiders, surely.
And you have Kirk Connors in his lab at this time, and the bad guy's like, Norman Osborn is dying. You need to speed up your process. This is not fast enough. We need to be able to heal people ASAP.
Yeah, and I like that as a motivation. Just float the idea of some strange illness affecting the Osborn family. Surely that'll never play into anything ever.
And then the bad guy's like, Did the hat also? Shit. And then walks out.
Have you heard? Have you seen Chronicle? Have you seen Chronicle by any chance?
Mr. Kurt Connors, Chronicle. Have you seen it?
And then, like, I like how he's putting more and more pressure on Dr. Connor. Every time we see that, like, corporate dude, he's putting more and more pressure on Connors to come up with a solution.
Yeah, and so we cut back to Peter, and he gets out of the room full of spiders, and he goes back to the group. And this is when Gwen's like, don't ruin this for me. Please, I need this job. Just hold it together. And eventually she's just like, give me your fucking card, because he's being an idiot. She
sees him come back, clearly after being every other fucking room in the building. And just like, you're not to be trusted. You're gone. Get out.
Yeah, and so she takes his card off him, and then he feels a bite on the back of his neck, Shaun. Big call to do another origin story in the Spider-Man movie that you've already done that's only 5 years after the last movies.
Yeah. Oh, so I'm not look, this is a very minor thing. I'm not a fan of the bite on the back of the neck.
Hand. Has to be hand.
Has to be hand.
Mm-hmm.
He has to see it happen, and then you look, and then it racks focus from his eyes to the spider, and that's it. That's all you need, lads. Back of the neck makes no fucking sense.
Because
okay?
then, what's he looking at? Nothing. He can't see it.
Yeah, could have been a bee. Could have been a small fly with teeth. Could have been a dart from a blowgun.
Could be, I suppose it could have been Gwen Stacy taking him out.
Yeah, just to save her own job.
And so he feels the bite, and then he starts feeling a bit weird. And we cut back, and he wakes up on the subway, Shaun. And it's at this point we see all of his powers already there in full flow.
Yeah, but he can't control them at all. He's like he's just kind of reacting. Like he's gets in a fight and he's grabbing stuff. And like he's ripping poles out of the subway. He leaps onto the ceiling. All of these people get a very good look at his face, by the way. And it never comes up again.
All of them.
Like, and also later on, a thug does say, "I've seen your face."
Yeah, he does. But nothing like that stops him. It never gets revealed. None of them are Mysterio.
None of them are Mysterio. That's true. So yeah, this felt like a trailer scene, though, this whole subway thing. You know, especially where he leaps onto the roof and he's hanging upside down. And that's a shot he's constantly using
his spidey senses, and he's just somehow taking them all out without trying. And he's sticking to shit, and he just can't release anything because he has to learn to control it. And we see him get home, and I really like this scene because I have Andrew Garfield is really good at like crazy, like his hair is all everywhere. He's just sweating, and he's just like, you can tell he's just, I mean, I wouldn't say stressed. He's just in a real. He's had a bad day, and he doesn't know what's going on, and he doesn't feel well, and he's real sick.
No, but you get to that point, like if you've ever like been like overtired and over hungry or over thirsty, and like you just are single minded, like I just need food. I just need food. I need to get food. And so he runs to the fridge and he pulls out fucking everything and just carries it upstairs with him.
Yeah, and then this is the line where, did he just take the meatloaf? There must be something wrong with him because nobody likes your meatloaf. And then she's like, for 37 years, I've been cooking you that meatloaf.
No, it's like, it's a really good scene. And he comes in and they're waiting up for him because he's back at like 12 midnight on a Friday or something like that.
And you can tell, like, I just think the dynamic between them is really good. Like, it's just really lovable, and you just really liked when the three of them are on screen together. That won't happen very long for soon after this.
No, not at all. Not at all.
Sally Field is dead. She dies next scene.
Spoilers.
So he has super strength, and he completely ruins the bathroom, which is reminiscent. I mean, they copied Wolverine Origins.
Very Wolverine Origins, this scene. Lot of bathroom antics going on. But I like, there's again a really nice moment in this, is that after he does all of that, he like gears up and very gingerly turns the glass doorknob. And it's a very like, he's gathered by this point that like, I need to be really careful.
I have superpowers.
It's like he's trying to like disassemble a bomb or something. He's just like, okay.
And so he's decided that day that he's in a real bad way, and he's going to go see Kirk Connors because he's the one man that knows his dad, and he can kind of give him the next steps. Because even though all this weird shit is happening to him, he's now one set. He's got one goal in mind, is to learn who Kirk Connors is, become friends with him, find out about his dad.
Yeah, and he's been binging things in the meantime.
Oh, he's been binging all day.
I was going to say Googling, he's been binging some spider bites and reading about that. And it was like, yeah, and death follows after and all this.
Yeah. And so he goes to see Kirk Connors, and he catches the mug when it falls off as well. And they have a nice scene where Kirk Connors is clearly hiding something, but he seems like a nice man. And Peter's like, I'm Peter Parker, and your man's like, oh fuck, like you're a Parker. Okay, he brings him in and starts explaining everything about what him and his father did and how they never got the algorithm right, and they just couldn't get it, and some bad people were after them. We don't know who, but somebody was after them.
A hot trend of Andrew Garfield giving out algorithms in movies, by the way.
Yes, it's this big thing. That, and he hates Facebook. There is two big things.
Well, don't we all? Detective Divilment's discussion group.
And so he then sits down and he redoes the algorithm. And he's like, I think I have it. And he just rewrites
would this work?
It. And you have Kirk Connors be like, holy shit, that could work. And he's like, where did this come from? He's just like, he just hits his head with the pencil. He's like,
it's like, there's a lot rattling around up there.
There's my fucking brain. Like, I'm real smart.
I'm fucking savage. I'm Spider-Man. Oh, shit.
Oh, shit, I've revealed it already. Do you remember that guy that stuck to the ceiling in the subway? That was me. And so then we go back to the school. So he's kind of developed this algorithm, and now we have a basketball scene, Shaun, which is real good and real cool and definitely good for a Spider-Man movie. Go on.
I don't hugely mind this. I think it's the least egregious thing of Peter Parker being a bully in this movie, because
it's the least bullying he does.
Yeah, because look, Flash is being a dick, to be fair. And look, there's a very he's making him try and get the ball, but he can't get the ball, and then he like Michael Jordan's through the air from half court and smashes the backboard.
That's where it lost me. I'll be honest with you, that's where it lost me. I like the bit when he has the ball sticking to his hand and it's just like, take it. But when he flies through the air, I remember being like, no, that's not funny or cool.
And again, no one ever connects this to Spider-Man in any way. Now, I do like the next scene in this, which is Uncle Ben pulling him up on it afterwards.
Yes, that's really good.
Because he's just like, no, you humiliated that boy. And, okay, it was for revenge. Did it make you feel good?
Because he's like, is that the guy that hit you? Because he's like, is that the guy that hit you the last day? Do you feel better now? Because you've really taught him a lesson. Yeah,
and it's like, do you feel like a big man after that, do you? Because you're no better than him at this point.
And I really like that, because also, this is what he does after Uncle Ben dies, and he has to relearn this lesson, but like on a much grander scale.
Yes,
That revenge doesn't help whatsoever.
Yeah, and it's said really ham-fistedly later on.
Oh yeah, absolutely. But currently it's just Uncle Ben giving out to him and being like a proper dad.
Yeah, and then embarrassing him in front of Gwen Stacy, leading to the most awkward intimate scene I've ever seen.
I mean, I can't tell if this is cute or just so awkward that...
Oh, it's like spine-tinglingly unsettling to me.
Yeah, like you're watching two people clearly in love, having a conversation but being nervous around each other. And but to be fair, Shaun, that's what the actors were going for. So, is it great acting or is it a bad, awkward scene?
I think it's bad direction.
Interesting.
I think the acting is fine, the actors are fine. I just think in this movie, those kind of moments do not play well. For me, those kind of moments do not play well and do not sell Peter Parker having any...
she clearly is mad about him as well, which is why any of this shit works, because like he's acting like a crazy person, being like, will we go that thing, or do you want to do the other thing, or what's this hurry?
Either is fine.
Like, if he didn't look like anything like Andrew Garfield, I don't think he'd have a hope, but at this point it's implied that Gwen Stacy's mad about him as well, so... It didn't really matter. So she's all in, no matter what happened.
Yeah, like I feel like there's somewhere in between like Tobey Maguire and Kirsten Dunst's flirting dialogue, which is horrendous.
Awful, horrendous.
And then this. There has to be a middle ground.
I think
Tom Holland and Zendaya might be that middle ground.
I think they might be that middle ground. I think they might just be like, act like normal humans, but at the same time some couples might be like this, where especially if you're 17, like they're getting across the idea that they're 17, they're mad about each other and they're awkward as shit,
but they're like 28 in real life.
Andrew Garfield was older than Tobey Maguire in this movie than Tobey Maguire was in Spider-Man 1.
That's wild.
Isn't that wild?
He plays it off. He does play it off, I suppose, but then he's like 18 in the next one.
True. So what's interesting about this is, though, before Uncle Ben leaves, is he says, you have to pick up Aunt May now. Because of your stunt, I've had to take a different shift at work, and so I can't pick her up because you've caused this. So now you have to pick her up. And he's like, yeah, cool. And so then he gets distracted by Gwen, and then he has a day to himself, Shaun, where... He goes to a warehouse to skateboard a little bit.
Yeah, to Philip Phillips. Forgot that song was in this movie.
Yeah, great name. Philip Phillips.
Philip Phillips, great. Like Gary Neville's dad?
Neville.
Neville, yeah. But also, like, so he just skateboards around. He is exploring the use of his powers. He's doing kick flips and shit. There's a nice moment where he's swinging on chains. I do think that's quite cool, because it's like the impetus for the web swinging in his mind. Like, that's a nice moment, again.
You need to have the scene where he learns what the fuck he can do.
Yeah, exactly. And he's delighted, and he's thrilled. And it's like, anyone who learned they had spider powers would be doing that.
But the next thing he does is, as it's getting dark, he goes back to Oscorp to go visit Kirk Connors.
To research with this formula that he gave him. They do some simulations on some rats and shit.
Freddy the Mouse, they have
Freddy
there.
the Mouse.
And so Freddy needs to regrow his arm, And so they've tried this a million times, and Freddy keeps dying constantly.
Yeah. Grim backstory about Freddy. Who... Did they find him with an arm cut off, or did they...
I mean, they definitely 127 hours of 100%.
Maybe. You think they put him in a traumatic situation as well as cutting his arm?
No, I think they cut off one of his arms, and with the other one, they put him under a rock. And they gave him no phone to call home. Because he had no other arm, Shaun. He couldn't do anything about it.
No other arm.
So they have the bit where they put in the algorithm and eventually it works, and they're like, oh my god, we did it!
Then they high five.
They do a big high five, they jump when they do it, and they're like, we've solved it,
Freeze
Parker.
frame. Credits.
Parker, you're a genius, Kirk Connor says. They're best friends at this point.
Yeah, loving each other. And then it cuts to Peter Parker coming home.
He's had a great night.
Had a great time. What could go wrong?
What
Who's waiting
was he,
for him on the porch?
What was he meant to do? What was he asked to do?
Oh, just one small task that I'm sure isn't that important.
Yeah, he had to pick up...
He was asked to pick up Aunt May at 9 p.m. And Martin Sheen is not happy.
And I'll be honest with you, when this scene happens, like, that is... I think this is a really good scene. I think...
It is.
Because I think Martin Sheen plays it exactly the right way. Like, he's mad. Like, he's real mad. Because he's like, I asked you to do this, and you didn't do it. And then Aunt May, who's played by Sally Field, who of course is amazing. I mean, she's Hollywood royalty, Sally Field. So she's like, it's okay. Like, oh, I'm sure he had stuff on, I'm sure. And he's like, no. You left my wife to walk 12 blocks to go to a Subway at night time by herself. And she's fine, but anything could have happened, and you had that responsibility, you let us both down.
Yeah, so he said, like, you're a lot like your father. Your father, though, had the view that if you have the power to do something, it's your moral obligation to do it. And Peter fires back, which is what a 17-year-old who's angry and upset would fire back with. At this point, up until this point, I was like, I completely understand where this scene is going. And then Peter acts like a little shit because, as you said, he's 17. And so he's been put under pressure. He's had a great day. He's had like the best day ever. Gwen Stacy said yes to his date. He has superpowers. He solved Kirk Connors' problem. Kirk Connors is like loving him like a son. He's like, wow, you're a genius. And then he comes home to this. And he's like, yeah, well, didn't work for my dad. He's dead. Yeah. Where did that get him? Like, why isn't he here telling me that himself?
Yeah.
And it's like, fuck me. That would be a crushing thing for Uncle Ben to hear, is the thing. And that's the last thing Peter says to him. And
so he walks out the door, smashes the window while he does it. And then at this point, Martin Sheen's like, I'm going to go after him. And I like the bit where Aunt May's like, leave him. Let him walk off. But Uncle Ben is like, no, I gotta go talk to him. I can talk him down. He's just had a bad day. Yeah, he needs like a little guidance at the minute. But like, I like May trying to Ben's trying to talk Peter down, and May's trying to talk Ben down. Yeah, and at the start, it's like Ben is like fighting him. He's ready to attack, but then he realizes the situation has changed. So, like, as every good parental figure would, you change the point of attack. Like, it's... At a certain point, it's like, you need to do better. And then when he starts acting like this, like, I gotta give him some guidance. Okay, well, you could have done this. You could have done this. So he goes... Like, it's okay, but you need to realise things. Yeah, and so he goes after him, and Peter goes into a shop, and he goes to buy some milk, and he doesn't have 2 cents. And the guy behind the counter is being a dick. And won't give him... Because he's a real prick for no reason. Like, he has 2.05, and I think it costs 2.07. And so he's like, come on, man. It's 2 cents. And we've all been there probably in a shop where, like, it's 1 cent or 2 cents. And the person's like, it'll be fine. Don't worry about it. But the guy behind the counter's like, no, sorry, can't. And so then he's like, okay, fine. So Peter storms off. The next guy behind him robs the shop. And... throws Peter the milk. That was a cool move. And Peter's like, thanks very much. Walks out. He's delighted with himself. Because this shopkeeper, because he's already 17-year-old and edgy, this shopkeeper got his comeuppance. Fucking dickhead. Because he's thinking selfishly at this point. Yeah, but also I would do the exact same thing.
Without question.
Robbed the shop.
No, not rob the shop. But if that dude was a dick to me, I'm not chasing after a robber for someone who's a prick.
Yeah, so the robber leaves the shop and he goes sprinted off, and the shopkeeper's like, somebody chase him. And it's just like, not my problem.
Yeah, and that's the thing. And this leads to the robber runs, falls, trips. Uncle Ben goes for the gun and gets shot in the stomach. But I don't feel like that's Peter's. Technically, yes. If Peter had chased after the dude, Uncle Ben might have lived. But also, Peter didn't have to chase after the dude.
No, I think the idea is that he acted self-indulgingly at the moment. He was just all about himself. He didn't care about the consequences of his actions, and that led to people that he loved.
But I would argue even the police would tell you not to run after someone who would.
I would be of the same opinion. I think the idea is that he should have just not taken the milk, or maybe even helped him, even if he was mad at someone. I don't know. I think the idea is that you need to act. He had the responsibility.
Yeah. And look, and with great power and all that stuff. But yeah, Uncle Ben, dead as shit.
Think of the dodo. The same as that. He's fucked. He's absolutely... And nobody's seen it coming, but the chap is dead.
Yeah, Uncle Ben dying, imagine it. It'd be like introducing Gwen Stacy and expecting something bad to happen.
Not in this one. Not in this one.
But God, as soon as they introduce that character, you always know where it's going. Except in the Raimi trilogy, where she's introduced hanging off the side of a building, and nothing bad ever happens to her then.
All she does is her and Peter have a few kisses. It caused a bit of drama.
We all loved it. But yeah, then there's this whole reeling from Ben's grief thing is quite good. It's quite well done in this movie. You have the police talking to Aunt May. They give the sketch, really hammering home the star tattoo on the wrist that I'm not sure anyone noticed in the moment.
Seriously, the guy has a star tattoo on his left wrist, blonde hair, currently resides in around these few blocks. Don't go looking for him. We're on the search for him. Right, don't.
We're on the search. We're looking for him. We're on top of things. Really nice moment in this is midway through the montage of grief. Peter is heading out looking for the dude, and before he leaves, he tucks Aunt May in. But Aunt May, I noticed, is sleeping on the sofa.
Yeah, because she won't sleep in the bed.
Yeah, which is nice little character moment. It's very believable that you wouldn't want to sleep in the bed.
Yeah,
at that time.
But I think this movie is at its best when it's at its reality stuff. I know you're saying you don't like the Gwen Stacy Peter Parker because it's too real, but I actually think if it was that tone for the whole film, I think it would be a much better film than a blue beam in the sky at the end.
Yes. Yeah, and we will touch on that as well. How do you feel about...
Go on.
Sorry. I was going to say, how do you feel about vigilante Peter Parker?
I was going to say, before that though, there's the scene with Flash in school.
Oh, yeah.
And it's a very small scene, but Flash shows up and Peter throws him against the locker. He's like, not today. Just not today, Flash.
I'm not in the mood.
And Flash is like, I know your uncle's dead, man. It's going to be okay. You're going to be okay. And it's being really nice.
Well, Flash said... But when Peter throws him against the locker, Flash is like... You feel better, don't you? And it's this thing of that's why Flash does it. It's to make himself feel better.
Because Flash has probably lost one of his parents. It's never said, but it's implied that he knows what Peter's going through.
Yeah, and he's a dick, but he's not an awful person.
And I like that. I like that he's not just a dick. I think this Flash is in a weird way, it's the most comfort that Peter gets. Is Flash being come on, man, throw me against the locker. It'll make you feel better.
It's an actual it's someone treating him differently because of what happened, but not in a bad way. It's not someone, because everyone else in the hall avoids him. They fucking they're the Red Sea. They just split as he walks down. But Flash actively comes over to him and is look, I'm sorry.
And the other person that comes over to him is Gwen, who immediately gives him a hug. and is just he's like trying to talk to him, but I mean, she understands when he walks off because he's not in the mood to talk to anyone. He's racked with guilt, but Shaun, he's also racked with, what does guilt lead to?
Vengeance.
What does vengeance lead to? The dark side. The
dark side.
Yes, exactly, Yoda. So he goes on a search for the man with the star in his wrist that the police so eloquently told him multiple times was about. He's out and about and he's causing crimes.
Out and about causing crimes with Peter Parker.
I think that's how they just said it to him. Lads, he's out and about and he's causing crimes. I don't want to say it in any more of a harsh way.
Yeah, and like, okay, he just goes and he beats up thugs and he looks at their wrists for a while.
But then he also gets caught with a group of them, and they all chase him because he has no mask, and he eventually breaks through a ceiling and lands in a wrestling ring, which I like the idea that a luchador is the reason why he puts the mask on.
Makes a lot of sense. He's like, oh, okay, I need something to cover my face. And so he gets this like red, like neoprene mask with the sunglasses as well, which I'm not happy. Sorry, you were going to say.
I was going to say also, if you didn't get the idea of the luchador, you also have one of the thugs be like, "I've seen your face."
Yes, just really. And my friend has a star on his wrist as well.
I know a man with a star, he will fuck you up, man.
But he gets a red neoprene mask and he's wearing sunglasses to hide his identity, right? But the thing is, the lenses of the sunglasses carry over to every iteration of the costume in this movie. And we'll touch on it later, but this costume is the worst Spider-Man costume that's ever been put to film.
What? Which one? Yeah.
The Amazing Spider-Man.
The real one?
The suit. The one he's wearing in this. In all the hero shots of the movie. It looks like a wet basketball the entire time.
Absolutely not. I'm against that altogether.
Second movie, unreal. This one, terrible. Orange eye lenses, absolutely horrendous.
Look, the scene when he first gets out in the suit and he flies up onto the skyscraper and you have that reveal, it goes first person, which I like the idea of that. It's like an interesting take.
Yeah.
He flies up. I think that suit looks amazing. I don't know what you're seeing.
I don't know. It's terrible. It's absolutely.
What are you talking about?
This suit. It's a nightmare. It looks like the Man of Steel suit spray painted red.
I think that is harsh. That is harsh, but okay, fair enough.
Look, you come here for the hot take. But in this, you do get my favourite thing, and it's him developing the web shooters. And I love it so much.
Because that's what he would do. I much prefer web shooter Peter, the natural, weird Tobey Maguire Peter.
Organic wrist webs, yeah. Not a fan.
Yeah,
not a fan of
because
that at all.
It just adds an extra layer. Like, Peter Parker's a genius. So of course he would develop that.
And so he goes around hunting criminals. He researches other costumes. He's looking at a lot of spandex, apparently. He's binging it. He's doing a bing. And
eventually he has the new suit, and then you see him, he's in the back of the car when the guy is like trying to steal the car. And
the small knives bit.
This is, I mean, the one line that made me laugh was, oh no, my weakness is small knives. And I thought that was funny, but ultimately he's just bullying that man.
Oh, like this is, he's Peter Parker's like torture interrogating a man. Like, what's he gonna, because at the end, he webs up his mouth to the point that the dude can't breathe.
Yeah, he's going to die.
He's webbed up to a wall. Yeah, and he checks his wrist, and Peter Parker sees there's no star, which we've already established is very important to him. And then he punctures 2 air holes in his nose, and is like, this could have gone a lot worse for you. What does that mean?
I think he was going to kill him.
That's fucked.
Because this is
Parker
revenge, Peter.
Oh, but like and I get he has his hero moment on the bridge later, but my God,
yeah, it's super dark, and also I was watching it like, that's not Peter Parker. Like, he's not quippy. It's hard.
He's a bully.
It's hard to do quippy, but also on the back foot. Like, Peter should be getting fucked up, but constantly still one-lining the guy. Just even when he's like trying to survive, like Doc Ock is trying to rip him in half. But then you have it here where this thug poses no threat, and he's just like beating the shit out of him, and then just constantly like doing it. It's like in wrestling when the bad guy like does one arm behind his back. It's like, I could beat you like this. You're shit.
It's insult to injury he's doing the whole time in this.
And so then the police show up, and he's like, he takes the gun off the policeman. He's like, I just did your job for you. Throws the gun away, and then he goes on a big chase through the city, and it's just a case of like the police are after him because he's a vigilante, I suppose. They don't like him.
Yeah, and I get that. Like, a lot of the times the police don't like Spider-Man in the comics as well. It's like a common thing that happens. And I really like, it comes up later, but he has a full-on conversation with Captain Stacy later on. And Captain Stacy's just like, yeah, on the internet, yeah, he's seen as a hero. But this isn't, it's not about stopping bad people and helping the good guys.
It's a revenge mission.
It's about justice. It's about due course and due diligence, and that's not that.
And you also have two very important scenes in this. One is when he gets home. Sally Field has a great scene where she's like, he didn't get the eggs, and he just like, he looks battered and he looks bruised, and she's like, where do you go? What do you do? And he's just like, don't talk to me. Like, I'm in the zone. So she's not only just lost Uncle Ben, she's also lost Peter, so she's completely by herself.
Like, he's neglecting Aunt May. Like, she needs someone around her at the minute.
Like, she's lost someone as well. Like, her loss is even bigger than his, but he's 17, so he doesn't understand that. So he's like, I'm doing it for you. I'm going out revenge mission and go looking for him to kill him. So then you'll feel better. It'll be great.
It's even Stevens.
And so, then Kirk Connors gets pressured more and decides, I'll do stuff on myself. The perfect idea.
It worked in the computer, and it's been a couple of days, and it's probably fine, so I'll just inject myself with this. And the dude is like, the corporate dude is unnecessarily evil this whole time.
Oh yeah, like 100%, like, get it done right now. This exact moment.
And it's like, and I think he suggests, like, I'm sure the veterans shelter will have plenty of participants. Like,
he's like willing to kill people.
Like, he's like, he'll kill like soldiers, like ex-soldiers to do this. This happens simultaneous to the dinner at Gwen's house.
Yeah, he goes to Gwen's house for dinner, and he goes into the back window, and this is when they first meet the family, and you've Dennis Leary there being all Dennis Leary, which he's good at. And him and Peter have the great scene where, as you said, he's like, this is vigilante, this is not heroics. And because in Peter's mind, everyone loves him. Like, how could you not? He's doing great stuff.
Yeah, and then, like, and it gets really tense at that dinner table. I like how the kid has to, like, slice Peter's fish for him.
So then Gwen's like, okay, I'm going to take you away. So she takes him up to the roof, and we have the world's most awkward scene where he won't talk for a good 2 minutes.
Yeah, you could cut this entire thing out and just have the bit where he webs her and spins her, and then it's like, oh, you're Spider-Man.
And this
like,
might surprise
he just tells
you.
her straight away.
This might surprise you, but Emma Stone's a good actor. And so
really?
when she really nails that bit when he webs her, and all the stuff goes across her face in like a second. And she's just like, you're Spider-Man, but also this is romantic, but also, oh shit, you're Spider-Man, you're the vigilante.
Yeah, and it's like, and like, she gets, like, immediately, like, it happens, and she's like, oh. Like, it all clicks, and it's just like, that's mad. That's insane. And then they have to go back inside, but then the lizard is attacking the bridge. So
yeah, Kirk Connors has injected himself, and so he shows up to the bridge and is basically just like, in the taxi, he's like, go! And so he chases after
taxi driver, by the way, excellent service, because he could have just said, no, get out.
Weird lizard man. No, leave me alone. And so he fucks off, and you have the scene where the lizard is on the bridge causing hassle, and Peter basically looks at Gwen and is just like, I gotta go. And he goes off, and her dad goes one way, and Peter goes the opposite way. And then she just stands there, she goes, oh, I am in trouble. I am in trouble, which I like.
This is
she's,
bad.
She's like, this is bad, because she knows this is bad. And so he turns up to the bridge, and this is his first heroic moment, where there's a scene where he's like saving cars, and the lizard is getting away. And there's a moment where he can go revenge, where he can stop the lizard, or there's a kid in one of the cars about to die. And he basically has to decide about being a hero, or about, is this a revenge mission for Uncle Ben? And so, I mean, it's not about Uncle Ben, but like in a weird way, it's like, does he take the selfless route, or is he selfish and like go for the glory? And so,
is he like hunting someone, or is he saving someone?
And
basically?
so he saves the kid and he takes off his mask. And what did you think of this scene?
I like how he's like. Now, look, I'm still iffy about him taking off his mask in front of the kid, but I like how he's like, hey, I'm just a dude. Put on the mask. That'll make you strong.
He takes his mask off all the time in this movie. It's off constantly because, I mean, he looks like Andrew Garfield. You gotta take the mask off.
You don't hide that.
Tobey Maguire, stick it on him. Stick the fucking mask on him.
Mask all the time, please. But yeah, like he saves the kid, and like the kid is climbing up out of the car, and the car falls, and he webs him. It's a really cool sequence, and it's the first time after he saves that kid and he gives him back to his father. That's when he says like, "Oh, I'm Spider-Man."
Yeah, like it clicks to him that with great power comes great responsibility. And it's not...
Basically.
It's not that he has power so he can do stuff himself or bully Flash or go after Uncle Ben's killer. He's got power so he needs to save everyone else.
Exactly, yeah. And after this, the police are like, something happened on the bridge. The only thing we can say is Spider-Man was there.
Yeah, which is great. Like, he's involved. We don't know which side, but he was involved somewhere along the line.
He's definitely connected to it.
Yeah, and so then Peter and Gwen are at the... also, Kurt is in the sewers, and he loses his powers. So we see him revert back to Kurt Connors. That will come up later on with one of my points. But Gwen and Peter... are then at the football field, and I like the fact that she knows immediately. We don't have to go through any of that shit where he's hiding it.
Yeah, there's none of the dancing around it or anything like that.
No, I much prefer when like she understands and she's like, what are you going to do? Like, you can't keep chasing the big lizard. And he just looks at her like, well, I'm the only person that can. Like, I have
and
to
she's like,
chase
it's not
him.
your job. No, maybe it is. Maybe it is my job. Like, no one else can fucking stand up to him.
Yeah, nobody else is going to be able to fight the lizard. So, like, I think I should do it because, I mean, I don't want your dad going. Like, it makes more sense for me to do it.
He's like, I'm able to do it. Then he throws a football at the goalpost and it bends it.
How did nobody see that, first of all, as well?
Everyone saw it.
Everyone saw it.
At the goalpost and then at him. And they just never
could have just put in... Oh, he has got fucking superpowers. Do you know, I don't even know if he's Spider-Man, but that fucking kid up there has an arm like a rocket because he's superpowered.
Get that man on the team, please.
And so he goes into the sewers to basically chase the lizard because he's like, the lizard is down here somewhere. We need you. And he does a really cool thing where he does all the spider webs in all the different directions because he's doing the vibrations.
Yeah, he's like, because he follows a lizard, like a little like gecko thing, down into the sewers. And sets up the web, lies in the middle of it, and is like, okay, I'll see where they're coming based on the web's vibrations. He has a load of cameras rigged up to get evidence of a big lizard.
And when they start vibrating, it's like, I just think that it's a really cool Spider-Man scene because, I mean, he's using his brain. Like, let's put all the webs in all the different directions. So one of them starts vibrating, that's the direction he's coming from. And so we see him sitting there. And then all the webs start vibrating more and more. The lizard shows up and immediately just like absolutely fucks him. Just completely.
Just wrecks him.
Just wrecks him.
Like they're fighting, they're scrapping, they're fighting in the water. He gets a big scrape across his chest, like pretty deep, and then falls into sewage and is fine.
Yeah, it's not infected. Don't worry about it.
It's not infected at all. Spider powers, you know yourself. I don't know how well he thought that was going to go because he saw what the lizard was able to do to like a car.
But he also is like,
would be fine.
He's meant to be dumb here. Like, he's just like, I've got powers. Just see what happens.
He's
just show
reckless
up.
is kind of what you're getting
Yeah,
at.
he's reckless. Like, he doesn't know at this point. So he's young and
Okay.
he's new to the game. So
Yeah.
And the best bit is
What's
he has
your-
property of Peter Parker on the cameras, which is fantastic.
Yeah. On the flash of the camera, I will say. Like,
Okay, fair enough.
something slightly easier to lose, perhaps, but still.
And so he
Not great.
gets flushed out and he gets away, barely, and he ends up at Gwen Stacy's house and he falls in through the window.
I do like this where he's in bits. Like, he's actually like, no, I'm hurt. I need to go somewhere and it can't be my house.
Yeah, and so he goes to the one person that knows there's something there's something wrong with him. That they know who he is. And the two of them, I like the bit where she's like all casual at the start and then he falls into the window and she's just like, oh shit, you're fucked.
Oh, okay, this is bad. This is bad. And she has to like play it off to her dad because there's a boy in her room and all
She's
this.
got cramps, Shaun. It's funny.
Got cramps. We've all got cramps.
I do
all
like the
time.
bit when he's just like, where she's like, I don't want any cocoa. I'm 17, and he's like, last week you said you wanted to live in a house full of chocolate.
Yeah, it's which is not what you want to hear in front of Andrew Garfield.
No, he's so cool. He's so cool, nerdy.
Like a chocolate house.
And so they go.
And the lizard is going insane in the sewers. By the way,
Yes.
you're like, he's just like he's videotaping himself. And he's just like, oh, I'm gone beyond repair. It's like, now this is evolution. This is the next step.
Everyone needs to experience this amazing
Everyone.
evolution. So he injects himself again with even more.
Yeah.
And he knows Peter Parker's Spider-Man, so he turns up to the school. And now we've got a
Yeah,
school
just-
fight scene.
Strolling around the halls. One of my favourite Stan Lee cameos that there's ever been, might I
That
say.
he's on the headphones and the whole thing's happening behind them.
Yeah, and like a table comes like this close to hitting him in the back of the head, and he just doesn't recognise
Because
any of it.
Peter
It's amazing.
saves it and just like swings it
Yeah.
back around. What do you think of this whole fight scene?
It's pretty good, I think, if not a little samey. Like, it's cool having Peter being indoors in this fight because he's jumping wall to wall and like trying, because he knows his thing is speed, where the lizard is like raw strength, basically.
I like that he's constantly trying to just put out fires in terms of like he's just trying different shit. So like the lizard is there, he's like webbing them to the lockers. And then, like, the
Yeah.
lizard just pulls it off, and now that's, like, a sword. And he's like, oh, shit. Okay, that didn't work. And so then he's just, like, trying to wrap him up. And he's trying to, like, wrap his legs. And he's just doing anything
Yeah.
he can to survive.
It feels like a level in a video game, nearly.
Yeah.
Where it's like, the stage progresses and progresses and progresses, and you just have to react to it all.
Also, his mask comes off again, because, of course, it does.
Yeah, he doesn't need it. Doesn't need it. He's
and-
Andrew Garfield.
And so you have the big fight scene. I like the bit where he's just like looks to Gwen, because Gwen actually saves him at one point. I like that in this movie, that like Gwen
Yeah, she has a lot of agency over what happens in this.
yeah, and so she turns up and she like saves him, hits the lizard with an award and
A right hook.
and so she he looks at her, he goes, I'm going to throw you out the window now. And she's like, what? And he just like fucks her out the window and saves her. And then he wraps up the lizard. And then you have the bit where the lizard, they design the lizard gas. So he's developed a
Yeah.
lizard gas to turn everybody into lizards. Because lizards are amazing.
That's the thing. And like they set up earlier a machine that could vaporize, chemicals into the
we
atmosphere.
missed the bit where
and
he
all
goes
this
to
shit.
visit Kirk Connors, and Kirk Connors is clearly mental.
Yeah, and he's like, oh, you'd have to catch a lizard first before you can kill it.
He's just like, I'm here to talk about lizards. What's so good about lizards? Lizards are amazing. Lizards are the best. You'll never defeat a lizard. Lizards are fucking class. You're shit. Okay?
And he doesn't know he's Peter Parker at that point
No,
either.
doesn't. And then he goes to the police and he's like, Kirk Connors is the lizard. Fucking clearly.
Fuck, yeah, and they don't believe him until they believe him, and they're like, oh, maybe we should check this dude out.
And so he's basically comes up with the fact that the lizard is designing the gas to turn everybody into lizards. And so
Yes.
Gwen immediately is like, I'm going to go... Oh, because he goes down to the basement in the sewers and he finds the perfectly laid out plan that was on the computer. So it shows the plan to him.
But the lizard formula keeps turning him back into a human after
now,
like a couple of hours.
Okay, look, this is the big plot point of the whole film is that the lizard's plan makes no fucking sense whatsoever.
No, none at all. But now I guess he's insane, but also, come on, like,
as a scientist,
be lizards for maybe 4 hours.
Yeah, as a scientist, if he keeps doing the lizard thing, but he keeps turning back into a human, all he's doing is designing the lizard thing to turn everybody into a lizard for maybe 5 hours, and then everybody would be like, wasn't it weird that time that we were lizards?
And it feels more like this movie is trying to find a way to kill Captain Stacy. Like a really roundabout way of doing that is to have a man turn into a giant lizard.
I suppose. And so he's like, I gotta get to the top of Oscorp to release this gas to turn everybody into lizards, even though it's not really going to work for more than a few hours. And ultimately I'll probably have to go back up to the tower at like midday and do it again.
You'll never rest like doing that.
He's going to be wrecked. Just constantly releasing every few hours. And so Gwen is like, I'm going to Oscorp, I'm going to make the antidote. And Peter's like, don't do that. That's where the lizard is going. And she's like, no, I'm going to get there ahead of it. I'm going to make it. And she's like, shut up, Peter. This is the right thing to do. This is going to save lives.
Yeah. Fair dues. Brave move.
And he also at this moment goes, Mother Hubbard.
Not a great move, I would say. Wouldn't it be great if he just said, for fuck's sake?
Oh, fucking hell, Gwen. That's a fucking tick idea. Jesus,
Gwen.
You stupid fucking bitch. She's
Number
always
one
at that.
in science. My arse.
And he's looking at Captain Stacy like, she's a fucking tick, your daughter. Fucking hell. Jeez.
Is that your fault?
Did you rear her like that? And so we have the bit where the police decide that instead of the giant lizard that's climbing the skyscraper, they're going to attack Spider-Man because he's the bad guy.
He's public enemy number one, as we well know. He's probably in leagues with the lizard for all we know.
For all we know, he is the lizard.
But little did they know that the only solution to a gunshot wound is New York spirit, Connor.
So I like the bit where it goes first person. I think that's just an interesting idea that they never do. But like, it's such a small thing that's not even in the film, but it's just a good director choice, I think, to just be like, let's just have a few scenes to show everyone what he's looking at.
Yeah, because it is stunning. Like, it's like the camera actually swings. It looks really, really cool.
Yeah, and the police chase him, they taser him, and he lands, and this is another one of his mask off scenes where...
Mask off in front of the entire New York Police Department.
But see, he fights them off first though. Well, no, he fights them off with his mask off, but none of them see his face, Shaun.
Moving too quick.
He's moving too quick. The only person that does see his face, Captain Stacy. He's got to die.
Yeah. Anyone who sees his face has to die. That is the rule of Spider-Man.
And so Captain Stacy's like, wait a minute, you're Peter Parker. You're a nice man, even though that time that you weren't really nice, but you're dating my daughter. And he's like, the lizard is at Oscorp. Your daughter is there. I need to go there and save her. I can save her. I'm the only person who can. And so he slowly puts back on the mask, and Captain Stacy's like, okay, let him go. But then one of the police officers is like, this is my chance. I'm going to fuck up Spider-Man.
I'm about to make Sergeant.
Stacy's going to be so proud of me. So he takes out the bazooka, and he's like, no. Sniper.
No.
Sniper to the leg. So he shoots him, and Peter gets shot through the leg. So you're thinking, all hope is lost here, shot.
But then he's a spider, so he has 7 other legs.
That's not true. What he is, though, is he's New York, right? And
you mess with one of us, you mess with all of us.
And so, one thing I do like about the crane scene, which is ultimately real dumb, and to be honest with you, the whole movie kind of becomes a bit of a dumb fest for the last 20 minutes. It's fine.
Yeah. We're kind of fast forwarding through this bit, I feel, in the report.
It's just dumb. Right?
Just a lot. It's very samey.
And so the lizard is like, I'm going to turn everyone to lizards. I'm at Oscorp. I like the bit when he shows up and Gwen is there and they take all the music away and it's just footsteps and you're with Gwen. It's very Jurassic Park.
It's very The Incredible Hulk 2008, correct?
It's absolutely not, no. And so... and so you have the bit where the crane operator is the same guy whose son was saved, which I think is actually not a bad idea.
No, it's a nice touch, and it's like, okay, it's a karma, you know, like he saved a child, so now he gets a crane turned 90 degrees.
And so all of the cranes guy, hey, John, you still know that guy from City Centre who works all the cranes? Get him on the phone. I've got a mission for him. And so they all have to move the cranes into a certain way to help Spider-Man.
They swing it over the road so that he can just swing directly to it. Yeah. He doesn't have to fuck around with buildings or anything like that. There is buildings the whole way along, and Spider-Man always swings on buildings, so he would probably be fine.
I think it's just really getting in his way, to be honest.
It's more obstacles, if anything. But he does do this really cool move where he like slingshots through like the arm of a crane.
And the suit looks great in all those shots, doesn't it? He moves like Spider-Man, Shaun. He does.
He does move like Spider-Man, but I just think the suit is weird and fucking... Yeah. It looks sticky. I'm not a fan.
No, I'm against you. And so they turn up. I just have here, cranes work together, ha ha. So normally when I write ha ha, it means something is bad. So they turn up to the roof and they're like...
Yeah.
And I was going to say the croc, but Lizard is there. And Lizard's like, okay, I got this. Right, I'm going to put this in the top. I've got my lizard gas that I'm going to release.
A thermos full of gas.
He's got a thermos full of gas. As we all know, all great plot points revolve around. And so Peter's like, hey, don't do that. Captain Stacy shows up, shoots some liquid nitrogen that's just on a rooftop. Nobody knows why it's up there.
And this was foreshadowed earlier, by the way. During the scene where he goes to meet Connors and Connors is like, oh, lizards are class. The way Connors phrases it to Peter is said, why the sudden interest in the cold-blooded? And then Peter asks, would the cold blood affect things? And then so they set it up all the way back there.
He's like I've got fucking scales, Peter. Of course I'm the lizard. How are you not getting this?
Look, Peter, I can't stress this enough. I am a lizard.
Like, lizards are fucking great. They're absolutely... You'll never beat them. They're fucking unkillable, and I'm a lizard, clearly. And
the only thing that could stop me is a New York police officer with some liquid nitrogen.
And some cranes. They're my only weaknesses. And so the police officer, captain says he shoots the liquid nitrogen. They freeze the lizard. They're fighting him. They shotgun him to the chest, to the tail.
Classic Spider-Man move.
Classic Spider-Man. And so the lizard gets shot, and unfortunately, Captain Stacy, he died.
He did, but...
Well, you think he did. He gets stabbed here, but he survives long enough to give us some missions later on.
Survive some missions. I was going to say he survives long enough to cock-block Peter Parker.
That's true. One more breath to cock-block him. And so the antidote is there. Gwen gives him the antidote earlier on, so he's getting up there. And then they have a race to the top, and it's counting down. And it's like 10, 9, 8 before it releases the gas, the green gas. And Peter at 2 replaces the gas with the blue gas. And that, Shaun, is the antidote to the lizard gas that some people already have, but ultimately would have been fine from.
Yeah, I think there was some like thrown into the street early doors, just being like, here's some courtesy introduction lizards for everyone else to get used to it. But I guess
just to ease everyone in, people. I'm going to turn your granny into a lizard. Just to ease you in.
It's just so you'll all know a lizard, or you'll know someone who knows a lizard, and then after that you'll be best friends, and then Yeah, then there's a whole bunch of liquid nitrogen, and Connors is like, he feels bad at the end.
No, so what happens is the blue beam goes up, heals everyone, and then the tower starts collapsing, and Peter falls, and Kirk Connors catches him. Well, what's not shown is the whole tower collapses from the top of the skyscraper into the street, into the city street of New York, which I have written here. There's at least 2,000 casualties, maybe 3,000, because it's scraping off the edge of skyscrapers as it falls. There's so many people dead, Shaun.
Yeah, but they have Adrian Toombs, the Vulture, will come clear it up.
He saved them. He saved everyone. And so Kirk Connors catches Peter and he's like, I've got you. You're safe in my arms. I'm good now. I'm no longer a lizard.
My 2 arms.
My 2 arms. Wait, no, one fell apart. Oh, no.
Imagine, what if he grabbed him with the fucking right arm
He
and
did.
it just fell?
Originally, he grabs him with the right arm and then Peter falls and then he grabs him with the left arm. Which, to be honest with you, if he lets Peter drop, Peter's absolutely fine, surely.
No, he broke his web shooters earlier on in the fight.
He can still stick to the wall, though.
But if you throw him away from any walls...
I mean, he's fallen down on the edge of the skyscraper. He just needs to stick out one arm.
Skyscraper's falling over. Skyscraper's falling over, Connor. Angles.
No, yeah. True. Nick and nitrogen. Yeah.
Yeah, we've all seen a triangle.
So he gets home and... he gets back over to Captain Stacy. Sorry, I do apologise. The cock block has not happened. And Captain Stacy was really nice. He didn't die for the last 10 minutes.
This movie has its own BC and it's before cockblock.
And so Captain Stacy was stabbed about 10 minutes ago, chronological time, but he's absolutely fine. Peter gets over to him and he's talking to it. Dennis Leary is like chatting. He's not like, I've got one last word. He's like, here's the plan, Peter.
Here's a speech.
Here's a speech, Peter. I've got a full speech. I'm not going to break words. I'm not even going to stutter. Here, I've got full use of all my lungs, even though I was stabbed 20 minutes ago at this point by a giant lizard. So here's the thing. Don't date my fucking daughter. Stay the fuck away from her. Keep her out of it. And especially, do not date my daughter. Anyway, I'm dead.
Can't stress that enough. And now I die.
Seconds later, he needed to survive long enough to cockblock, and so he dies. And we cut to Peter a few weeks later, and he's like, "Oh, Peter promises not to date Gwen."
Before this, though, brings home some fucking eggs, doesn't he?
He gets home and he brings home some eggs, and you have Aunt May is just like, he's absolutely black and blue, blood everywhere. He's just a bit
tattered.
Yeah, and so at this point she must know, surely.
You would think, but she doesn't know in the second movie, so...
Oh yeah, I mean, what does she think he's doing? Part of a fight club?
I was going to say Fight Club. Or he just like got caught in the... He met a lizard on the street. You could say that. It's like one of the lizards got me. One of those cursory introductory lizards that they had out.
Do you remember old Janet from down the street? Cursory lizard. That's what happened to her. Now she's a lizard.
She's a lizard. Look.
I don't think she's coming to work tomorrow. She was a lizard for a while.
You're going to have to do a double shift. Turns into her boss.
And so, which I think that's a nice callback. He brings home the eggs. They have a lovely scene together. And then Gwen shows up after the funeral, because the movie is a Spider-Man film, remember? Has to end at a funeral. Mm-hmm. Gwen shows up.
All of them do.
And to be honest with you, she has a great line, because she says, my dad died, and you didn't come to the funeral, and you're my boyfriend. Which... bad luck for old Peter.
Yeah, it's some damning evidence that you've just given there, Gwen.
To be honest with you, I think he still should have probably went to the funeral, regardless.
I think he should have. He went to the house, like like they knew him independently as Peter Parker, like the family. So it would have just made sense. He's Gwen, even if not boyfriend, he's her friend. Like,
yeah, I think
you
still
to
go.
Father's funerals.
Maybe we didn't see there was a scene where he's like, also don't go to my funeral. Also, especially don't date my daughter. Also, especially do not turn anybody into more lizards. Okay, I'm going to die now. Goodbye. Farewell. Yes. Goodbye.
And so Gwen turns up. And
no, I'm not dead yet. Sorry, just to reiterate, do not date my daughter. Now I'm going to die. Blah. There's like 6
video
fakers. He's got the hologram, Tony Stark hologram that he sends
Just
to
saying,
him.
don't take my daughter on repeat. And so the movie ends with them. God, they're never going to be together again, are they?
Well,
Connor?
it ends on the bit at the very end where he shows up late to class. The teacher's like, "Oh, Peter, as usual, late, tardiness." And he says, "Oh, I promise it won't happen again." She's like, "Don't make promises you can't keep." And he says, "But those are the best ones." And Gwen starts smiling at the end.
It's like, oh, he's dishonouring my father's last wishes. Amazing.
But also, he gets completely away with it when she shows up. Because he's a complete dick, because he doesn't go to the funeral. And she's like just giving out to him, which she has every right to. Like, you're my boyfriend, you didn't show up to my dad's funeral. Like, my dad died, and you didn't show up. That's pretty bad. And then just as she's walking away, just when we're like, oh man, Peter is kind of a dick, we have to relieve him of all of his guilt. So she just turns around and she goes, "He made you promise, didn't he?" And it's like, oh, for fuck's sake. Peter's a nice guy now.
It's like, oh, he's a good boy. He's a good boy, but a bad boyfriend. So, yeah, that scene, even in the theatre when I watched this, I was like, oh, that scene in the classroom seemed really forced.
Yeah, it's just a bit of her smile. I don't think she should take him back. If you were together and your dad died and the other person didn't show up to the funeral, I think you might hold that against them for a while.
Yeah, I definitely think you would be like, maybe we'll just be friends for a while.
Not a great look. Not a great look. Even if you look like Andrew Garfield, and I mean, we're together in real life, Andrew, because I'm Emma Stone. Not a great look. And so the movie ends where we have a promise of a glowing sequel. I cannot wait. But Shaun, what are your overall thoughts with this film?
Look, a lot of this, I think this movie has like high highs and really low lows, and it's like the intervals between them is the issue. Because like there are some really, really nice moments. There's some really nice Spider-Manning and Peter Parkering done in this movie. But most of the time, like, Spider-Man is a bully. Peter Parker is just, like, difficult for me to watch with the way he delivers his lines. Or doesn't deliver lines. That's another one. Or, like, it's characters suddenly become idiots for no reason.
I think that it's a film that probably shouldn't have even been made, really, because I don't think it really... The main mistake it made was it doesn't really tell much of a different story than what the first one did. Like, it doesn't go in a completely mad direction that you could understand the remake. And it would have taken... the only way it would have got made was if you were going to go that way. Or if they were going to go a Tom Holland route and maybe hire someone who is 17. Or whatever, in the first one. I could understand if you were to do that. But they hire Andrew Garfield. He's about 30 when they hire him. It's not on him, but it's kind of a samey vibe. The great thing about this is that you've got a likeable... I think Peter Parker, no matter how awkward he gets, is much more likeable than Tobey Maguire as Peter Parker.
Yes,
I think
he's less of a dead fish. I
think you give Tobey Maguire the same dialogue. Imagine the same dialogue on Tobey Maguire. Exactly. It's because no matter how awkward he is, we root for him. Because we're like, we like him. He just naturally is likeable in this.
That's true.
And you have Emma Stone, who's of course great. Dennis Leary, I think, is good. Rhys Ifans is good. Martin Sheen and Sally Field, I think, are perfect casting. If you're going to cast an older Uncle Ben and Aunt May, I think the two of them are really great. And I think the two of them, I mean, I mentioned earlier on, they're Hollywood royalty. So the two of them normally knock it out of the ballpark. And even together, they, as you said, we mentioned very, very early, but like they're basically a married couple from the very start.
Yeah. Their chemistry is unreal and fun to watch. Yeah,
and I think this movie is really great as a film when it's on anything but the lizard stuff. But, like,
it does fall down.
Like, think about it. Like, all the scenes that we said were like a bit clunky were the bits where he knocks into the guy and he sees the symbols and Oscorp about the lizard stuff to go get bitten to do this and this. But all the things that run smoothly are mostly when our characters are interacting with each other. But he's not talking like, just the thing, whatever, I just shakes his head constantly.
Yeah, no, I totally get it. And I feel like, especially like in 2012, I think this movie was quite good when it came out.
$220 million budget, which is actually a pretty big budget, made $750 million. So
pretty good.
Made a lot of
honestly.
money.
Like, I think that's like on par with Iron Man 1.
Yeah, and I think I don't know. Back then, I don't know if Andrew Garfield, Emma Stone are like draws as they are now. Like, it's completely different. You do that movie now, but I mean they were big names, but they weren't. They were probably the same level of Tobey Maguire and Kirsten Dunst were in the first one.
Yeah. Like they're the new stars, quote unquote. Whereas now they're like, no, they're the stars now.
And
you know,
I think,
you get me?
And I think the second one falls down because it goes into too many villains and there's too many plot points. But this one gets by.
The second one is a mess.
Like, this one is just pure charm. Like, it lives and dies off its charm of the characters in it, not by the plot.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. So, are we doing Weetabix at the minute? Because I think I just thought of one.
Okay, go on.
Okay. So, they are lovely Weetabix, bit of butter, not bit of butter, sugar, bit of banana as well on it. But the milk that I pour in is 1 day from going off.
Okay.
It's like, it's all good, but it's this close to being an absolute nightmare.
Yeah, like it could have been bad. No, it goes off today, but it still smells okay.
Yeah, but I don't have time to go to the shop, so I just need to deal with this milk as I take it.
Yeah, I can understand. I think it's a film that I think Andrew Garfield fits in a lot more with Tom Holland's character. I think, I mean, Tom Holland's going to look up to Andrew Garfield as like the coolest man who's ever lived. So I don't see him looking at Tobey Maguire. I think this script doesn't work with the Tobey Maguire universe, but I think Tom Holland could probably pull it off. That universe. I
think so, and I think you are right that it's because of the charm factor. That's like, no, like you'll forgive it because he's endearing and you want to like him.
Yeah, so I think endearing is the word. Like it's a movie that I shouldn't like because I like Spider-Man 1 and 2. Maybe not Spider-Man 3. But like this came out and I just remember being like, as I said, I had a great time watching this the first time. That I was just like, oh, I like these characters. I like that Peter Parker. It's been a while since I liked Peter Parker. Because Peter Parker's a bastard in Spider-Man 3.
That's very true, yeah. So like, and the idea, I suppose, there was this hope of seeing more at that point as well. I
think a Spider-Man movie lives and dies on whether we like Peter Parker and we want him to succeed, because that's what
it, whether
Spider-Man
we root
is.
for him or not.
Yeah, like,
but you don't like. And in Spider-Man 3, you do not root for Peter Parker for much of that movie.
Exactly. So I think that is our review of Spider-Man, The Amazing Spider-Man, I should say. Cannot wait for Not Far From Home, No Way Home.
No Way Home. It's difficult, isn't it?
It's so many homes, but No Way Home. I cannot wait to see how Andrew Garfield looks now in the suit. I think that suit is real nice, even though Shaun doesn't think so.
I think they'll go with Amazing Spider-Man 2 suit, which is a worse movie but a better suit in my opinion.
Yeah, that's a pretty nice suit. I will admit that's a nicer suit. I don't have any issues with this one though. So,
I have some.
Shaun, would you like to take us out?
Yes, thanks everyone for tuning in for another month, another Lazarus Pit review. We really do appreciate everyone who sticks with us, who hopefully enjoys the shows, and not just even these shows on Patreon, but even listening week on week. It's lovely to see the same names cropping up on Twitter and Facebook and in any comments and things like that. So just a big thank you. We don't tend, as you already know, we don't really tend to do the plugs and the promos at the end of these, because you're already here, you've done the hard work, and just to know we really appreciate it. Keep adding suggestions into the hat for future Lazarus Pit episodes. You can drop them in the comments, or you can send them on any of the social medias, and they'll all go into the hat. They'll all get pulled out eventually. Maybe if we pull out Wild Mountain Time, that one will get put back in.
People need to stop.
Just in case.
People need to stop recommending that. I don't like it, Shaun.
I'm not a fan. I think we might explode. But look, again, even if it's Wild Mountain Time, really do appreciate you. Hope you enjoyed this. Let us know what you thought about The Amazing Spider-Man, and give a verdict on the suit. If anyone could settle that for us, that would be ideal.
Okay.
But I think that's about it, Connor.
So, I have been Conor Lawler.
I have been Shaun Neal.
And we shall see you next month, guys.
Bye-bye.
Bye.